Episode 14 of the YoJoeShow Podcast, highlights.
Now, what we know so far as of this recording is that at least 12 people were killed, including 3 children, and more than 60 were injured as missiles and drones rained down all across Ukraine, far from the front.
They may have actually been assembled within Russia, but the same parts that they order from China and they build these FPV drones and then they attack these bombs, their range is very limited. So what they did is they put these in these pallets, in these containers, and they had regular Russian trucking companies ship these to areas not far from Air Force bases. And then they use these drones to completely destroy and obliterate probably about 41 heavy bombs.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore, but I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. I think he got out there and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office.
The lowest blows came from Elon's side when he posted, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate." And then this one, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. The president shot back. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. Democratic lawmakers are claiming they called it.
Continue to work independently of the CIA, independently of the government. And there must have been some people that knew this was still happening. They had a base here in Florida, and they apparently RFK actually sent helicopters, military helicopters, to bomb out or firebomb the location so that it couldn't keep operating. They're like, you guys can't be there. We're going to destroy the thing. And yet they still continued. And then that group viewed this as treason, that basically that JFK was acting in a treasonous manner. They didn't have the interest of the country, and he should be fighting Cuba, and he should be fighting Russia or USSR, and therefore he needs to be taken out.
You could have stopped that!
How did you know this was happening?
Reddit.
And, like I said many times, these elected officials or these non-government organizations, they can't cross the line either. I mean, we got...
What he has to say.
Never recovered from finding out that the food pyramid was a scam.
Yeah.
That was just the degree to which that's a scam is, I don't know, is there a worse medical crime in history than that? No.
Telling Americans to load up on 7 to 11 servings of grains every single day.
Yeah. To find out that was a marketing ploy by the Department of Agriculture and that they went against the advice even of their own consultants who warned them that they would produce an epidemic of obesity and diabetes, which is, and not to say nothing of depression and dementia, which is exactly what we have now.
Exactly.
I don't know what you even do when you find out that's true.
And the unwarranted demonization of natural fat-containing foods, nutrient-dense foods like animal-source foods, which continue to be demonized.
Even by the American Diabetic, is it Association Society? I don't remember which one is still pushing the notion that diabetics can eat carbohydrates. Actually, I don't think so. I don't think that's a very good idea, since they're converted to sugar.
That's the crux of all this. And if you notice, there's a theme throughout this episode. This has to do with all the behind-the-scenes things with governments, whether it's a government in the Ukraine or Russia, or are they really working in the interest of the people? That's really the question. And it's a tremendous scam. Most doctors, in fact, one of the things that Bobby Jr., so RFK Jr. mentioned this past week was that he's considering making it a requirement that medical schools start teaching nutrition. And if they don't, perhaps a year from now, they will stop receiving federal funding. Because
using the same tactics they use to promote tobacco, food companies set about peddling the entire planet a diet of processed goods, loaded with chemicals and additives, masquerading.
The potential for social control is gigantic and potentially irreversible.
Yeah, it is irreversible and it is very scary. Like you mentioned earlier with the social credit in China. Basically, if you do something and you get a bad social credit, maybe it could be littering, maybe it could be having a bad opinion about the government or anything like that, you can be shut off from everything, from banking, from purchasing anything online, purchasing anything using your digital wallet, which in China is basically your only wallet. Even when you cross the street, there could be like these signs that basically shame you because you have a low social credit score. So this is something that's very terrifying.
Here we are at the newly incorporated Starbase, Texas. This is the first new city made in America in, I think, quite a few decades. At least that's what I'm told. And a very cool name. And it's named that because it is where we're going to develop the technology necessary to take humanity and civilization and life as we know it to another planet for the first time in the 4.5 billion year history of Earth. It comes back in about 5 or 6 minutes, one way or another, and then it gets caught by the tower arms, placed back in the launch mount, and then you can refill propellant in about 30 to 40 minutes and place a ship on top of it, and in principle, refly the entire booster every hour. Transfer, how you do orbital transfer from Earth to Mars. And if you look on your Starlink Wi-Fi router, you'll see this image, because the Starlink Wi-Fi is or Starlink Internet is what's being used to pay for humanity getting to Mars, or the landing pads, just in case. But for Mars, we're going to need a lot of solar power. Since you can't really walk around on the surface of Mars, at least as yet, until Mars is terraformed to be like Earth.
Yeah, so that really is the grand vision, is to basically have a sister planet that could support life.
Why is the dog driving your car?
It's a driverless car. Balthazar just likes the front seat.
Of course, and he can control the stereo. There you go. There is literally nothing we can do, so have a nice day. Future really sneaks up on you, huh?
That's actually great. I haven't seen that before. It's very cute.
The future really. So for those that didn't see it, it's animal control is stopped in traffic and sees a car go by with a dog apparently driving the car. So they're like, we got to pull this guy over. And
That's so notable.
That's why they said, we need sirens. So they pull him over, and it's a dog in the seat. And the guy says, there's a man next to him. He says, here's my driver's license. And why is your dog driving? It's a self-driving car. Of course, driving a
can't believe this twist. So grab your popcorn, pull up a chair. It's Elon versus Donald, who's got better hair. When rockets and rallies just aren't enough, they settle their scores with childish stuff.
Be sure to watch our many shorts and clips and the entire episode 14 of the YoJoe Show podcast.